Hi, everyone, and good morning. Happy Friday. My name is Megan Jacobson, and I am a nutrition field specialist with SDSU Extension. I will be moderating today, and I will be keeping my video off. My internet is running a little slow, so I'm hoping that helps. But I do welcome everyone, if you're comfortable, willing, and able, to turn on your videos and also utilize the chat feature throughout today's presentation. We're excited to have you join us, for our Onward in October virtual care session. This is, I believe, our third session we've held in October. Last week, we had SDSU Extension Family Resource Management Field Specialist discuss some tips to track spending. So if you missed that session and would like to know more, you should have received a link to that session via email, and you can access that recording. So for today, Megan Erickson will be sharing and discussing the ins and outs of meal planning and sharing some helpful resources and recipes for planning meals. Before I introduce Megan, we would like each of you to use the chat feature and put your name, location, and how you heard about this series in that chat box. We'd also like to know what type of self-care series sessions you would like to see in the future. So if you're comfortable with sharing that information, please type up some session topics and ideas in the chat box. We would really appreciate it. So Megan Erickson is a nutrition field specialist with SDSU Extension. She is based in the Aberdeen Regional Center. Megan shares her knowledge as a registered dietitian nutritionist to support individuals and families to live a lifestyle balanced with healthy nutrition and physical activity practices. She loves to spend time with family and friends and loves to get her kids helping in the kitchen as much as possible. We also have with us Sarah Micon. Sarah is a graduate student and dietetic intern pursuing a Master's of Science degree in nutritional science and dietetics from South Dakota State University. Sarah is passionate about helping individuals live healthier lives and improving the health and well-being of her community. She loves to spend time with her friends and family, baking and trying out new recipes and being active with her dog Piper. So if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box as well. And with that, let's get started. So Megan, I will pass it over to you and Sarah to start the session.
Wonderful. Thanks, Megan. I'm going to go ahead and get my screen shared. Hopefully I can talk during today. All right. All right. So I stumbled across the saying the other day, of course, on Pinterest. And it just kind of resonated with me with all of these self-care series that we've been doing. And it's just a good reminder that self-care isn't selfish. It's truly important in our lives. And it just kind of serves as a good reminder of whatever you do to take time for yourself, for self-care, just, it's important to you and that it's not selfish. So I thought I would share that at the beginning. And so Sarah and I'm super excited to have Sarah. She's a SDSU dietetic intern. She's been wonderful the past couple of weeks to have with us. And we are doing ours on meal prep. So I thought, hello, meal prep. Let's, I always bring it on. And it's always the first thing in the morning or first thing in the work. Hello, meal prep. What am I going to do? All right, the dreaded question sometimes, what's for dinner? I have two kids, Max and Haley, and I'll probably talk about them throughout. But we walk in the door, either we get home from school or some kind of activity, and they're like, Mom, what's for dinner? And it's sometimes either you've meal prepped and you can answer that question, or it's like, oh no, I don't have anything. When am I going to hurry up because the kids are hungry? And they may not want to wait until 6:30 or whenever supper is ready. So this is kind of what's for dinner, and meal prep will kind of help you answer that question. All right, so Sarah is going to dive in a little bit more on the benefits of meal prepping, but these are kind of the three main things that we're going to focus on today. So one is save money, and who doesn't love to save money? And Lorna talked on financing or finances last week. So it kind of all ties in. So save money, you reduce food waste, and you eat at home. So you're not eating out and spending extra money by eating out. Save time. That's a huge one, especially for me. Food prep is done. Less trips to the grocery store if you're preparing in advance. Or, there are some times where I'm in the middle of cooking and I'm like, oh no, I thought I had this in my fridge and I'm sending my husband to the grocery store last minute. He's kind of my gopher. And eat healthier. That's another benefit of meal prepping. You're in control of the food that you're cooking and the portions and what you are consuming and feeding yourself and your family. So Sarah is going to kind of go over each of these three benefits a little bit more. And I love quotes. And so I came across a couple of these quotes, and it's prep once, eat healthy all week. And then one of my favorites, happiness is a fully meal prepped fridge. So hopefully by the end of this morning, you'll have some great tips, and then you'll walk away with some tips then to help create that fully stocked fridge.
All right, so like Megan said, I'm going to dive deeper into all the different benefits of meal prepping. So the first and most important thing I think with meal prepping is it reduces your stress. So when you know what you're going to make for the week and you have your food prepped and ready to go, it really reduces your stress. So if you've never meal prepped before, it can be pretty daunting to think about, oh, I need to get all these ingredients to make recipes for an entire week. But it's important just to start small and plan 1 or 2 meals each week. And then once you become more comfortable and confident with meal planning and prepping, you can start making plans for an entire week or even weeks. So it's also important to set aside time each week to plan your meal, to go to the grocery store, to go and to prep your food in advance. So this will all help you save time later on in the week as well. Saving money is also another great benefit of meal planning. So by prepping your meals for the week and having quality, healthy food options within grasp, you won't have to go out of your way to go back to the grocery store or go out to eat if you don't have dinner prepared for the night, and you're saving yourself time and money. You can also check your weekly deals and sales at your local grocery store, and this can help you come up with ideas of what to make and what recipes for the week. This will also help you save money, and it will give you inspiration for meals and snacks. If you're also able to buy food in bulk, this is a great way to save money. You can buy pantry stable items such as like rice, cereals, quinoa, seeds, dried fruit. This will help cut down on your food costs, and it will also reduce food waste later on. So meal planning will also help you save a lot of time. By like prepping your fruits and vegetables in advance, this will help reduce cooking time later on in the week. And you can also make like slow cooker or pressure cooker meals. You can just throw it in the morning, and then it'll be ready for you when you get home from work. This will also help cut down on time when you're actually cooking, and it can also reduce food waste. You can also make meals in advance and plan on freezing them and rethawing them later on in the week. And this will also help reduce the amount of time that you're in the kitchen cooking, cut down on the amount of time you're cleaning, and you'll also have meals prepared and ready to go when you need them on hand. So staying organized, this is a big thing for me. If I have my fridge and my pantry organized, it's easy for me to see what I have, so I don't like overbuy on things like, oh, I actually had a bag of rice in my fridge or my pantry, I didn't need to go buy one. So this is a great way to let you know what you need to buy. And also when you're planning meals, you can get inspiration by what you already have. So this can also help reduce food waste by keeping track what you have on hand. And also it's important to remember to bring your shopping list with you to the store so that you cut down on time in the store and you don't over purchase items. So stocking the essentials. This is something that I try to focus on myself. If I have essentials like whole grains, beans, any like canned or dried fruits or vegetables, this can really help me to make a meal around the essentials I already have. So it's a great idea to keep your pantry stocked with these types of essentials, and it'll make recipes and cooking a lot easier. Another great thing is to keep a wide variety of like herbs and spices in your pantry so that you can just whip something up quick and make different foods taste and have a different flavor profile based on like the herbs and spices you put in them. So another great benefit of meal planning is that you can make healthier meals. And when planning your meals and snacks for the week, it's important to incorporate all the different food groups. So like fruits and vegetables, protein, whole grains, low-fat dairy products. And in this image on this slide here, it kind of follows the My Plate recommendations, which is to fill up half your plate with fruits and vegetables, a fourth with grains, and another fourth with meat or meat alternatives or a protein. So it's a great way to figure out what you're gonna make based on that like My Plate recommendations. And you can also control your portions and pre-portion meals better by meal planning. So one of the hardest things I think is coming up with new ideas and recipes all the time so you're not just consistently eating the same thing. So it's a great way to find new recipes, go online, go on like blogs. A lot of like food magazines have online recipes you can use. Ask your friends and family for ideas for recipes and snacks. And it's a great idea to keep track of the recipes that you like and what you and your family have made so that you can go back to those later on if you can't figure out what to make that night. You're like, oh, remember when we liked that meatloaf or some other recipe that you all enjoyed. So that'll help you keep track of those things. And by keeping track of them, you can also vary your menu each week so that you have variety in your diet and you don't get stuck in a rut of making the same thing every other week. Another great tip is to batch cook. So I do this a lot with my grains, such as like quinoa and rice. So make multiple servings of a recipe or a grain, like I mentioned, and it'll help reduce your cooking time and time when you're prepping. Batch cooking ingredients that can be used in multiple recipes can be like grains, vegetables, meats, and then you can just throw them all together and then you have your meal. So this is a great way to cut down on the time that you're cooking, and it'll just also reduce stress. All right, and another great benefit of meal prepping is you're reducing food waste. So make meals that you know that you and your family enjoy and that you'll eat the leftovers of. So this is a big thing that I do. I'll make a meal that has about like 4 servings in it and I spread it out throughout the week. And I make sure it's something that I'll want to continue to eat so that I don't end up throwing any food away. Come up with plans for repurposing your leftovers or leftover ingredients. So this week I actually made an egg casserole and I had extra veggies like spinach and tomatoes and onions. And I just threw that all together and mixed it with some whole grain pasta and pesto. And then I had a dinner. So that's a great way to repurpose leftovers and reduce on waste. Cook foods in large batches and freeze them for later. This is also a great way to reduce the amount of time you're cooking, and you'll reduce your food waste as well. And Megan will talk about this next, but preserving food for later is also a great way to reduce on your food waste. So this can be done by canning, freezing, or drying different foods.
All right, thanks, Sarah. Also, if you guys want to put in the chat box, I see it now. But if you guys have kind of a favorite go-to recipe that is just, if you haven't meal prepped and the kids come home and they're like, what's for dinner? What's your go-to? I would say mine's spaghetti. I can whip that up really fast. And I can serve with like a side of vegetables and fruit. And so I kind of get all of the food groups that Sarah was talking about. So what's your favorite go-to recipe? And then she mentioned a great way to reduce food waste. And especially with the beginning of COVID, we already had, prior to COVID, there was already an issue with food waste and how to reduce that. And then with COVID, you know, a lot of people, we went to the grocery stores and we maybe bought up a lot of, you know, produce and food, but then we weren't eating it fast enough. So how can we maybe buy those foods in bulk when there's such a good sale to make it last longer? And so SDSU Extension has Pick It, Try It, Like It, Preserve It materials. They're filled with tips for selecting, preparing, and preserving a wide variety of fruits and vegetables. The Preserve It portion of this is new. My colleague Hope and I came up with those. And so for each of those produce items, we can show you how to either water bath can or pressure can it, if you want to freeze it, or if you want to dry it. And drying is great for one of our colleagues has been busy in our kitchen and drying onions and herbs, and it's a great way to make your food last, and is also a great gift giver. She plans to use a lot of those and give away as gifts. I would love anything with food you can give me as a gift. But also, yeah, if you had a garden this summer, hopefully you got everything out. It's been really cold up here in the Aberdeen area. So just this is another way that you can preserve your food, and it's in your freezer or canned, or if it's dried, it's just so easy to grab it and you know that it's fresh, and it's easy to whip up into your dishes. So I love chili and goulash. Yep, sausage, potato, onion, and pepper skillet. So you guys are already making me hungry. That's awesome. Frozen salmon fillet, 15 minutes in the oven, Megan. That sounds really good too. So yeah, lots of great options. Okay, so freezer meals are another great way. This is a publication, Freeze Now and Eat Later, and it provides a great background information, kind of what Sarah and I talked about today. It kind of goes over on cooking safe in the kitchen. So food safety is another part of just that cooking and making sure your food is staying safe. And then it also gives you some more recipes. And these are recipes you can make ahead of time. And if you can wait, they are great to throw in the oven and then, or in the freezer, and then take out later when you need a meal. So there's homemade taco helper, Tex-Mex enchiladas, and orange teriyaki chicken. There's kind of a master mix. So you make a big bulk of this marinara meat sauce, and then you use that for a classic lasagna, a baked ziti with 4 cheeses, and a zesty chili. And I love, I guess one of my favorite parts about it getting colder is soup season. And so and soup is just a great other easy recipe to do as well. Okay, one of my favorite things and kind of passion areas is kids in the kitchen. I love getting my kids in the kitchen. These are my 2 little ones, Haley and Max. They're always, whenever I'm in the kitchen cooking, they're always interested in, what are you making? What can I do to help? And sometimes I'm a control freak in the kitchen. I like things in order and clean. And with kids, that's not always the case. So I've had to let go with that, and it's been so fun. I always ask when I do plan meals, I always ask, Haley's at the age, she's 6, so she kind of has favorites. And so I always ask her, okay, what is one meal that you want this week? And my husband gives input to Max. He's usually, I don't care. So that's kind of his typical response right now. Oh, hopefully my screen didn't, there we go. So hopefully your kids or your family can provide input, and then they're more likely, if they're willing to help prep, they're more likely to eat it then too. Whether they're stirring or depending on their age, you know, a sharp knife or just using a butter knife. I give Haley a dull knife to chop things. She loves to crack eggs when we're making banana bread. And they love to dress up in their aprons and their chef hats, and they feel like they're real cooks in the kitchen. So getting your kids in the kitchen too is just kind of a fun way, and just it increases that family time, that just kind of the importance around mealtime. All right, another fun thing we did for this series is I asked our SDSU and SDSU Extension leadership some of their favorite recipes and then some tips and tricks that they may have. So we had input from the College of Education and Human Sciences, from our dean, associate dean, many of our department heads, and then the director of extension. So here from them, here are some of their tips. You know, double the recipe and eat leftovers, freeze any leftovers. I love leftovers. Pre-cut your vegetables, vary your vegetables and spices with what you have on hand. Another one said, if food is prepped and ready to throw in the oven when you get home, it's a great time to get a quick workout in too. So that's another awesome, if you don't have to worry about, you know, if you're able just to sneak in a quick workout, then you've kind of have done both. So that's another awesome tip. And then another one on the bottom, in terms of stress relieving tips for meal planning, for some reason, if something isn't cut up, I don't think I have time to use it. So on Sunday afternoons, when I have a bit of extra time, I cut up veggies and wash salad greens and make a balsamic vinegar that keeps well. Then I have instant healthy options to add to our meals when we get home from work in the evenings. So again, it just kind of reduces that stress level and you don't have to worry about it. And yeah, I'm the same way. If it's not cut up, I'm more likely maybe it's not going to get eaten right away, or it may be too late before it goes to waste. Okay, and so here are a series of, or a few recipes provided. This one's provided by Jill Thorngren. Sarah and I have made these into handouts, so we will plan to email these recipes out to all participants who have registered for our self-care series. So this first one is hamburger soup. This was one of her favorite recipe, kind of go-to recipes. And I love that she provided a soup recipe because, again, it's getting colder and I always think of that as soup season. So with this, it's great. You know, it has a variety of vegetables, so you can intermix and change out what vegetables you want. If you maybe don't want the beef in it, you can swap it out with like a pasta to make the soup go further. This soup freezes well, so if you make a large batch, maybe save some for later and freeze it, and that way you have a meal later on. So this is our first recipe. Our second one is by Matt Vukovic. This is roasted chicken with vegetables. So again, a mixed vegetable. So pick your favorite vegetable. He liked broccoli and cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, chopped onion, and then you have your chicken breast. So, and this is another great way that can be tailored to your family. So whatever kind of seasonings you want, you can use garlic powder, Cajun if you like more of that spicy, paprika, chili powder, anything to add kind of more flavor. And a lot of those, you know, herbs and seasonings, it's great because they're a salt-free option. So if you're watching your salt intake, that's a great way to reduce your salt intake. And you can also switch out if you're maybe not more of a chicken, you know, try fish, or like Megan mentioned, she loves salmon fillets. Or a pork, or, you know, so this can be interchanged a lot of different ways. All right, egg casserole, and Sarah, she made that this week. Here's another great option and another great recipe where you can, plump it full of vegetables to get your vegetable servings in. You can freeze this. You can make 2 pans and freeze one and make it later. So this is another great one. And this was provided by Dre Trenhill. And I'm super that I've actually made this one. So I'm always excited to get new recipes as well. Okay, the best ever tomato soup. This was provided by our director, Carla Troutman. And with this, again, the tomato soup, you can double the recipe. You can freeze half and save for later. You can, if you're looking to reduce your sodium intake, maybe instead of chicken stock, you could do a low sodium chicken broth. So there's lots of different options that you can do. If you like more of a chunky tomato soup, you could leave maybe or a crushed tomato, you can do that as well. And this is another great, just healthy meal that is easy to do, or even just to stick in your crock pot and let cook all day and it's ready by supper time. All right, and then Kendra Cattleman, she provided an eggplant bake. I was super excited about this. I haven't cooked a lot with egg bake, but this looks really good. She used a tikka masala sauce. She got this at Costco. But if you are looking for more of a mild flavor, you can use spaghetti sauce. So again, you can make this in smaller portions or a big pan and freeze later. And depending on your flavor style of sauce that you want to use, this is another great recipe that's easy, fast, and you can use for later. All right, and sheet pan steak fajitas provided by yours truly, Sarah. This is another easy, quick throw everybody. I love sheet pans because it's just one pan and cleanup is so easy. And you can swap out the steak for chicken or tofu, chickpeas, whatever meat or meat alternative that you like. You can turn the recipe into a salad. So instead of maybe a corn tortilla, you can use lettuce wedges or, add avocados, tomatoes, any kind of toppings that you like and are your favorites. Okay, so in review, we want to make meal planning and prepping an enjoyable experience. Of course, we want to help reduce your stress. And so this is just another kind of type of self-care. So make the process as stress-free as possible. It's a great way to make healthier food choices. It helps you save money, time, and reduces stress. When that question comes, what's for dinner, you'll be more at ease when you can answer that quickly or dinner's already in the oven. So thank you so much. Sarah and I really enjoyed this presentation and just providing this information for you, and hopefully you went away with some tips and tricks or just a fresh reminder, and we will be emailing you all the recipes after the presentation.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you so much, Sarah and Megan, for those awesome tips and ideas. I think that's reflected in the chat as well. A lot of people loved those ideas and recipes. So before we jump off, I'm going to initiate a quick poll. If you could please fill this out quick before you jump off, it'll help us get some feedback on how this topic and this series is going. So we really appreciate your feedback. Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for completing that poll. And if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. I see that Sarah addressed one of the questions in length, but Megan and Sarah, is there anything else to add before we're done today? We have about a minute.
No, I just want to thank everybody. And, start small. Don't try to tackle if meal prepping is new to you, don't try to tackle it all at once. Start with maybe one meal or 2 days, or even just snacks for a couple days, and make it fun. It should hopefully help reduce your stress and make meal planning and family time more enjoyable.
Wonderful tip. And you guys, if you have any ideas for any future series session topics, please send them to us. We want to gear it to what you guys are interested in learning more about. You can email those ideas to Megan, or once you receive like the reminder emails, we're all on the committee to plan these events. So they will get to the same place. So thank you again and have a great weekend.